And so today, Justin Trudeau himself weighed in as if he were above the fray, as if he wasn't part of the scandal himself, as if he wasn't the heart of the scandal, as if he wasn't the one who sent 10 of his staff to pressure Jody Wilson-Raybould. He described himself as someone observing, commenting outside of it, as if he were a referee, not a fighter in a battle. You see, he said, there are two sides of the story. There's Jody Wilson-Raybould and there's Gerald Butts. And Justin Trudeau will now weigh in and tell you, well, you're both right. He's made Butts the antagonist, unlike himself. He's untainted. It was Butts versus Raybould, and now Trudeau will come in to show you what really happened. Let me show you some clips.
I've taken time to review the testimony, to reflect on what has happened over the past months, and on what our next steps should be.
Oh, so he's reviewed things like a judge would review a case. So he's not a party, no. He's not the accused. He's not an actor in this drama. He's outside of it. He's a critic of it. He's an observer. He's neutral, like you and I are. We're just observing things, but he's more of a father figure. He's reflected on what other people have done. He's done some thinking about what other people could do better. And yeah, sure, he interfered, but in a good way.
And as you heard, I reaffirmed that the decision was up to the AG to make. Yes, I did mention that I was the member for Papineau, and I have the great honor to represent Papineau, and I've done this for more than 10 years. I care about the families, workers, and students in my riding, but this comment wasn't partisan in nature.
Remember, Jody Wilson-Raybould said that he emphasized the Quebec election. Trudeau emphasized his own personal re-election, his own personal seat in Quebec. But no. You see, that's not partisan, because he said it wasn't. Oh, and he's been reflecting on this. He's been reviewing it, and he's happy to conclude after some deep thoughts that he did nothing wrong. Case closed.
It's our job as parliamentarians to defend the interests of the communities we were elected to represent, to be the voice of those communities in Ottawa. I stressed the importance of protecting Canadian jobs and reiterated that this issue was one of significant national importance.
So when Trudeau told Jody Wilson-Raybould to think about her decision again, and when she was pressured literally 20 times, you see, he was just an ordinary MP doing what you'd want any backbench MP to do. He wasn't interfering with a justice minister that he could fire and did indeed fire. No. He was just a local advocate caring about jobs in the community. I love the phrasing here, the third-person language. He wasn't in the fray. He's the one judging the fray. He's not implicated. No.
Each of these interactions was a conversation among colleagues about how to tackle a challenging issue. Each came at a time when my staff and I believed that the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General was open to considering other aspects of the public interest. However, I now understand that she saw it differently.
I'm presiding over quarreling colleagues. I'm not the problem. No. I'm actually solving the problem here, people. And sure, Jody Wilson-Raybould says she doesn't trust me, but that seems to be really her as the problem, isn't it? I mean, she got all paranoid and weird about things.
What has become clear through the various testimonies is that over the past months, there was an erosion of trust between my office, and specifically my former principal secretary, and the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General. I was not aware of that erosion of trust. As Prime Minister and leader of the federal ministry, I should have been.
And you see, when people say they don't trust him, when he's crooked, when he's corrupt, that's just a healthy discussion. It doesn't mean anything. It's sharing perspectives.
Many people have been sharing their advice, perspectives, and experience with me over these past weeks. I believe that real leadership is about listening, learning, and compassion. It's about the push and pull of robust discourse and honest debate. It's about transparency and accountability.
So there you have it. He's all about transparency and accountability. I mean, sure, his MPs blocked the release of all internal communications on the subject, but other than that, right? And all those women saying he's untrustworthy, good talk, ladies, good talk. You totally respect your right to experience things differently.
That the same interactions could be experienced very differently from one person to the next. And I am not going to speak for the woman in question. I would never presume to speak for her. But I know that there is an awful lot of reflection to be had as we move forward as a society on how people perceive different interactions. Like I said, I do not feel that I acted inappropriately in any way, but I respect the fact that someone else might have experienced that differently.
Oh, sorry, that clip there was his excuse for sexually assaulting Rose Knight, the young lady back in Creston, BC. Same style, same alibi as today. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day I do a video monologue and then I interview an interesting guest and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.